how to tie the Vladi Worm. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and I'm glad to have you back. And if you don't know me, my name is Carson, and I have been fly fishing for the past 10+ years, and I'm making videos to help you and others to succeed in fly fishing. Alright, besides that, let's get into the video. This fly does not take too many materials, and if you're interested in the materials that I'm going to be using today, it's all going to be down in the description of this video. But besides that, enough talking, let's actually get to tying this fly. Alright, so let's get started tying this fly. So we already have the hook on the vise, and we already have the lead on. I made about 10 wraps with our lead wire on 0.025, and let's get started tying this fly. So we're going to start off with our thread, and we are just going to start securing our lead wrap on the hook. And I like to keep the lead kind of in the back section of the fly, and we're going to make sure that this guy's pretty secure. And also another thing you can do is that you can put some super glue on it if you'd like, and you could put that on the lead wrap, but we're going to do that at the last step, and I really think that the thread is probably going to do enough. So we're just going to make some extra wraps here. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to need is some tinsel, and this is definitely going to give that flashy effect to this fly. Now, a thing I want to note about this fly is that this fly has been tied so many ways, and there's so many versions of it, and when I got started tying this fly, it was really confusing trying to figure out what I want to do with it, or what's the best pattern or the best version of it that I want to tie. And this version of it has been my absolute favorite. It's been my favorite on wild browns, and especially stockies, rainbows, things like that. And I've been using this fly in competitions and things like that, and it's been really working well for me, and hopefully will work well for you. So now we got the tinsel on, and gave it a little bit of coating of that pink on there. But no worries, we got some red Sharpie, and this is going to give that wormy illusion to it. And I like to dab it on to that lead wire that we have. So that lead wire has like a non-natural look to it, which I kind of dislike. It's kind of like a grayish color, like a metal color, and I want to make sure that I kind of color it up a little bit, make it a little bit realistic, like a different coats of red. This is kind of going to give it that ultra dark red color to it, and hopefully that stands out on the camera. And trust me, you could try different Sharpie colors. I've tried green, I've tried orange, things like that. They all work great. Alright, so now we're going to get our fly Skinz product, and I'll have this down in the description, all the materials that I'm going to be using. And this is kind of like, not in the large version, it's kind of like in a medium version, not a small, and right in between. And we're going to get this Skinz, that's kind of a weird name, and we're going to add that to right behind that lead wrap there, and we're going to make sure that's secure. Alright, so our fly is almost practically done. Only thing we're going to do now is that we're just going to wrap all the way back up to right behind the eye of the hook. Alright, so we're going to grab our Skinz. I'm going to get addicted to saying that, Skinz, and we're just going to simply just start wrapping this around our fly. And make sure, watch out for the point of the hook. You can penetrate that latex when you start wrapping it. So this is going to be our first layer of this wrap. We're going to probably do it twice. And this is going to give that like an extra layer of realism to it too. And this fly, a really good color besides pink is like blood red and surprisingly green, like kind of like the mop color. And that really tends to work for me too. Kind of like a cat, it probably imitates a caddis or something like that. Alright, so we wrapped 2 layers on the fly here. And now we got right behind the eye of the hook again. And now what we're going to do is that we are going to secure a latex right there. And then when we got it secured, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back the latex and we're just going to snip it. And then we're going to start forming the head a little bit. Make sure that latex is in there good, or tightened. Not going to let go. Alright, now the last step of what we're going to do is that we're going to get our tinsel. And a lot of people use wires, things like that, but I think that the tinsel has been pretty good to having that latex shine, but also too, I think it just triggers those fish a bit better than the wire. Also in murky water, this fly really is really shiny, very vibrant. And I just ripped off the tinsel there. And we're gonna whip finish, and this is it. And the last step, I've really used about everything to UV to other type of glues, things like that, but actually I think the best one to use for this fly, and this is the fly, what it looks like when it's in that stage where everything is complete, and the last step is I'm going to add some super glue. And I'm going to put it like a good dab over it. And surprisingly, it does take a while for it to dry, but I like to go back and forth here. There we go. The super glue has really shined for me. Just because of course, I mean, you could use the UV, it's practically the same, but it's a lot cheaper. And you have a lot more than the UV. And I was like, might as well just use super glue. But also, I think it adds layers of realism to it also than the UV. Alright. So there you go, everybody. The Vladi Worm. That's how it looks. And I'm gonna put on some different layers of lighting here so you guys can see it, what it looks like in different versions. And there you go, everybody. There's the Vladi Worm. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And I really, if you have any questions at all, please leave it down in the comments. And this fly has worked for me for wild browns, stocked rainbows. I've used this in competitions, in flooded waters, but also where I know there's a deep pool, riffles, things like that. Of course, you can make this fly larger, smaller, lighter, heavier. I mean, this fly just works for everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until then, I'll see everybody next time.